Today's video was brought to you by StoryboardThat.com. Please visit TeacherCast.net/StoryboardThat for a limited time offer. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TeacherCast App Spotlight. You are listening to the podcast that brings you the best in educational technology right from the app developers themselves. Thank you so much for being a part of TeacherCast today. There's, of course, several great ways that you can be a part of TeacherCast each and every week. We love it when you follow us on Twitter at TeacherCast. Leave us a voicemail at teachercast.net/voicemail. Email us at feedback@teachercast.net. And of course, you can subscribe and review all of our audio and video shows over on teachercast.net/iTunes and teachercast.net/YouTube. Welcome to the show today. My name is Jeff Bradbury, and today we are going to be talking all about digital portfolios. The topic of digital portfolios is one that is all over Twitter, and I am so excited today to have some people on the show that are experts on creating digital portfolios. From a great company called SeeSaw, I want to bring on Carl and Zach. Carl, Zach, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for coming on today. You guys are experts in digital portfolios, but not just any. Digital portfolios that are really geared for younger kids. And you've created an amazing resource called SeeSaw. Tell us a little bit about SeeSaw.
Yeah, so SeeSaw is what we call a student-driven digital portfolio. We've really tried with SeeSaw to enable kids on their own, even kids in preschool and kindergarten, to capture what they're learning at school, to reflect on it, to really have an opportunity to sort of learn from what they've done, and then get it all in one place for teachers. So whether that's something they've made physically or with another app, we sort of collect it all together in one spot. And then the other piece that we do that's sort of unique is that we allow teachers to include parents in that. So instead of coming home and asking your kids what they did at school today and hearing nothing 9 times out of 10, you can actually get a notification on your phone and see something they did at school.
And that's really important. I recently did a presentation on digital portfolios. In fact, we even put a blog post out on TeacherCast recently about 4 great digital portfolios. And there's one thing that all of those have in common. They're not parent friendly. They provide a great walled garden that's going to keep the student stuff safe, but they don't provide the vehicle for parents to take a look. And you guys here have created an amazing tool that has parents in mind. Why is that important?
Well, there's all sorts of research that shows parent engagement in school has a really big impact on educational outcomes for kids. And one of the things we really wanted to do was provide something that was sort of safe for teachers to use, that wasn't sharing uncontrollably with parents, but also that made it really easy for teachers to integrate into their classroom and easy for parents to consume. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I think the teachers in their schools do so much work to try and bring parents into the classroom, newsletters, photo albums, all this kind of stuff. But you can tell it's a ton of work for them. And quite frankly, oftentimes, it doesn't actually work. For me, I've got my mobile phone, I'm at work, I don't have time right then in the moment to, click a link into a blog post and, read a long written thing. But a photo or an audio recording of what my child did is really easy to consume and helps me when I get home, ask the right questions of my child.
I want to bring up your website here. It is web.seesaw.me. And the first thing that you're going to notice when you look at this is it's for the iPad. This is something that many, many children in their school districts have access to or even have access to at home. And as you said, it really is more about taking photos and archiving them about some of the great projects or the things that are happening in school. Why was it important for a student, and I really do mean young student here, digital portfolio to focus more on pictures and photos rather than a text-based portfolio system?
Well, I think a lot of the projects that are, getting done at that age level tend to be either, something written or something built or, some multimedia of one sort or another. We've really tried to do whatever we can to make it so you can import content from other apps, whether that's Pic Collage or ChatterPix or Educreations or almost anything out there. If you're making something in a multimedia way, you can pull it into SeeSaw, or you can just take a picture of something you've made. And we found that captured a lot of what was happening in that age level classroom more than a Word document, for example, although we support those too.
Now we're showing here on the screen that it has push notifications to set up to help parents. Tell us a little bit about those push notifications and how you can get involved with your students' work.
So basically the way this works is a teacher sets up their class and then can send home a handout with each of their students. And that's a unique handout for each child and has a QR code on it that parents can scan with either an iPhone or an Android app. Or if they don't have access to either of those, they can sign up on the web. And by scanning that code and creating an account, they get sort of linked to their child's portfolio. They see only their child's work. And then from that point on, anytime a new item gets added or a comment gets left, they'll get either a text message or an email or a push notification to their iPhone or Android app. And so as soon as a student adds something to their portfolio and the teacher approves it, the parent sees it. And we've really done a lot there to try and reach parents even if they don't have smartphones. So if all you have is an old phone, you can get a text message with a photo, or you can access it via email. So regardless of what technology parents have, they get notified about new content.
So before we get into our demo, I have a couple of questions for you. Is this something that a teacher sets up for a classroom? Or, for instance, in my case, I've got a bunch of 17-month-olds running around. Can I use this app for them and start making a little baby portfolio of them?
So we've really designed it for the classroom. So a teacher sets it up for their class, sets up their students, then goes from there. I think over time, allowing parents to add items directly is sort of an interesting area of expansion, but for now it's focused on the classroom.
And you also said that it works with third-party apps. I noticed on here that you're also showing that you can take this and use it with Book Creator.
Yeah, so basically any app that can generate a photo, a video, a PDF file, or a link to a web page will be able to bring into the system.
Nice. Let's take a look at what this looks like, and why don't you give us a little demo of SeeSaw?
Okay, great. I'll pull it up. Okay, so let me show you about a little bit about how SeeSaw works in practice. So this is basically the screen where students or teachers, if they want to, can add new items to a SeeSaw journal. What you didn't see before this is our login system. One of the things that we really tried to make easy is login, which we have just heard from so many teachers is a time suck that takes away from teaching time. So we don't have usernames or passwords. When a teacher creates an account and sets up their class, they get a QR code poster that they can hang up in their classroom. And all students have to do to sort of log in and get connected is start SeeSaw, go over and scan that QR code, and then they'll see this add item screen. So it's really easy to get in and get started. And then students basically have a set of choices of what kind of thing that they want to add to their journal. They can take a photo or video of something that they've made. They can do a drawing. They can import anything from the camera roll, add a note, or bring in something from a web page. So we've tried to be pretty flexible at the different types. We also support PDF documents that doesn't show up here, but you can import directly from other apps. So let me just kind of show you about how a few of these work in practice. So let's take a look at drawing, for example. So basically, you can make a drawing. I don't know, I'll make like a little house or something. I'm not as good an artist as most of the students who are actually using this. You can select a color, do whatever you want here. Draw something that can be a picture, or a lot of times we see people using it for, talking about a math problem, describing something that they know as a way to teach it back to themselves. Once you've added an item like a drawing, one of the things that we really focused on was enabling students to reflect on what they've made, to explain what's going on behind it, to give some additional context. So after you've added an item or imported, you can always do an audio recording. So you can record, this is my house, it has one purple window, and then that audio recording gets added to that item. Or you can add some text. And again, the idea here is not that everyone will use these all the time, but one of these options, either text or a drawing or an audio comment, can add a little bit of sort of color to something that's being added to a journal. Then you just press the green check, and then the next step is to select your name from the list. So teachers set up the class list in advance, and you can then just find your name on the list. Every student has a little icon, or you can personalize it with an actual picture of them. And then that gets added to their journal. Now, the journal sort of has this feed-like approach where you can see the item that I just added here, or you can scroll back through time and see other items that I've added. These are some things that my daughter did in her classroom. You can import a picture and draw on top of it, as well as do audio recordings, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty easy to see everything all in one place. And then for teachers, they can see everyone in the entire class, or they can filter this view to a particular student. So they can see all of Charlie's work or all of Jordan's work, and immediately go back to find something for a student that they're looking for.
So, Carl, when a kid is using this, does the picture, does that get saved on the camera roll, or is all of this uploaded to the cloud so the teacher on another iPad can take a look at this?
It's all uploaded to the cloud. You can optionally save it to the camera roll as well. And then teachers can access it from another iPhone or iPad or our website. So for the typical workflow is, you'll have one or more iPads out in the classroom. Kids will be adding items. I actually showed adding this item as a teacher, but when you add an item as a student, it sort of goes into this approval queue for teachers. And then teachers can basically review all those items, make sure that they're, did the assignment properly or appropriate, and they've tagged the right name of the students, and then they can approve them. And until items are approved, they're not shared with parents or not visible sort of outside the classroom. That's sort of the basic sort of flow of, you add an item, it shows up in your journal. We also have this note feature. So this can be used, to record something that a student did today in a written form, or for a teacher to send a little note out to all the parents. I did a demo of SeeSaw today. That can be also have an audio annotation added as well, and the same process sort of applies. I pick my name from the list. And then the only other thing I'll show here is we also, just in our most recent release, added a bunch of organization tools for teachers. So you'll notice this little folder icon here. As a teacher, I can go in and either flag items privately for me to sort of follow up with at a parent-teacher conference or come back to later, or I can create folders that represent subjects or various learning objectives. So I can create like a math folder and say that that's an orange folder, and maybe an art folder, and that's a pink folder. And then when I'm reviewing these items, I can go through and assign one of these things to a folder, and then very easily go back and find student work by subject later on.
Talk to us a little bit about that like and comments button that I see there. That looks interesting.
Yeah, so one of the things that we found is, giving students the opportunity to record what they're doing and really have an authentic audience for that work has been a really powerful motivator in classrooms. So when students add something to their journal, teachers and parents, if they've been invited, can interact with that. So they can just like an item as just sort of a easy one-click thumbs up, or they can leave a comment, and they can type a comment here, whatever, great work, or in a version that's coming real soon to the App Store, leave an audio comment as well, so they can give some feedback to the student that way.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, we found that kids are really excited that their parents are paying attention and sort of giving them props. And we've had a number of teachers say that it's really improved the quality of students' work and really made them want to do their best work because they knew by putting it in SeeSaw other people were going to see it.
Now, if I'm a parent and I have my kid using this, how can I save their work, or how can I archive what they're doing so I can keep all of my my students' work with me?
So parents can take individual items from their journal and save them to the camera roll, or share them. We also support linking to any item. So this is pretty useful for both teachers and parents. If you go into this share option here, this is a simulator, so I don't have a lot of apps installed, but if you want to tweet about an item or post it to Facebook or link to it from a learning management system or another blog or embed it in a blog, those are all options that we support. So it's really easy both to get stuff into Seesaw and get it out in a bunch of different ways.
So you have a great resource here. Kids can take photos, they can write notes, they can journal, they can do all these different things. What is the cost of this?
So Seesaw is free for teachers and free in the sort of basic form for parents. Parents can get notifications and see all the stuff that I showed you today. If parents want to keep all their child's content in Seesaw organized beyond a sort of 30-day period, it's a $9.99 per year fee for parents. We also have an option for schools that are interested in rolling it out school-wide. But for the most part, we've tried to make this something that teachers can adopt really easily, that's free for them. And parents who want to use Seesaw on an ongoing basis have a pretty modest fee to participate.
Carl, you got such a great app here. I mean, I can clearly see why students and parents love this. In fact, if we're looking over here at your website, there are hundreds, if not more, great teacher recommendations and tweets and pictures and all sorts of of social media love. I want to know, what are you hearing from teachers and students about their uses of Seesaw?
Well, we've had a lot of great enthusiasm from teachers. And in fact, Zach is a teacher that we've been working with really from the early days of developing Seesaw. Some of the ideas behind Seesaw, QR code logins and the like, actually came from him. So maybe I'll let him answer that question and talk a little bit about sort of practical uses.
Let's bring Zach in here. Zach, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Doing well. Where are you from, Zach?
I'm from Northeast Indiana. I work with East Noble School Corporation. We're a public school of about 4,000 kids, and we're a full one-to-one district, iPads K through 4, and full laptops 5 through 12.
And what attracted you to Seesaw at first?
Well, it was a new tool, and I will tell you, everything in the demo and everything that you guys have said about other apps were things that we were doing. And what I think Seesaw does is it gives us a great student choice, and it adds an additional layer to the creation that our young learners are very, very good at. So before, as we were, emailing, embedding this into a website, putting it on a blog, we were choosing the student work. I'd get 27 emails. I'd pick 5, tag those 5, and post them out. But this really gives the students just a choice of options, which allows them to take ownership of the product. It allows them to go and review before they post. And I really think giving kids an audience really allows them to let their best work shine.
And how have you gone about training your kids? Is this one of those apps where you just say, hey, go use it, figure it out, and kids can be kids and figure it out? Or did you actually have to spend few minutes showing them what it's worth and how the value works? And
well, with different classrooms that I work with, they have different approaches. This is more by the teacher. Some have downloaded it and said, I just want you to tell me something about your day or tell me a story. Some we have made, I think there's probably some examples on Twitter where I've just printed out the logo and I cut a circle around it. And during our normal agendas, I had just stuck that logo up next to math. So those kids were sort of prompted at the end of our math lesson. We were going to take a picture, take a quick video. We're just going to tell what we're doing. So we're already doing math. Now we can take a picture of our best work and we can explain that problem. So if the kid knows they're doing it right, now we get that extra layer to dig a little deeper and we get it from their perspective. And I think that's really powerful to kind of capture.
Tell me about the reactions that your kids are having to this. Are they having fun with this? Is this something that they're excited to use every day? Is this something that you can see really is benefiting your classroom?
I think that it's fun, but I think it's also very serious for them. I don't think they take it as a joke. I think that they take a lot of pride in what they're doing. So if I have a kid who reads a book and I tell them, I want you to draw a picture of the setting and really explain it to me, they're not just drawing, a stick figure down by the water. They're really getting detailed. And I think you can see from the teacher resource page on the website, it's loaded with all sorts of examples of kids, putting forward their best work. And especially because now they have an audience, whether it's their parents or teachers, and then we can share those later on social media. it's just been great. And I really, really like the choice option of saying, show me your best work. And I don't care if that's audio, if it's video, or if it's a text box. Really lets the kid choose, especially for our young learners who might not be able to type a whole lot, or if spelling's a problem. We can do a lot with audio.
Carl, you got a great app here, one that's obviously being used, throughout the country to help students become digital citizens. What is it like to create something and then meet somebody like Zach that's using it in the field, knowing that you are not only changing the way he teaches, but changing the way his students are learning?
It's really inspiring. I mean, we've got a small team here, but every morning we come to work and there's someone on Twitter talking about how they've used SeeSaw in the classroom or excited to have discovered it, and that kind of energy is what keeps us going. It's really great to see, and I think we've been really lucky in that we've worked with Zach and a number of other teachers really from very early days in building this app, and it feels like a really collaborative process. We've got a great group of teachers who, every time we do something, there's something we didn't get quite right or doesn't work quite the way they want, and they've told us that, and we've been able to fix that quickly and get it into the next version. And I think that process has been a lot of fun on both sides, really. We've built something that I think is actually working because of that interaction.
Zach, I'm sure there's teachers out there listening to this that might want to get a hold of you to say, hey, I want to try SeeSaw. How are you using it in your class? Where can we find you, Zach, and how do we get a hold of some of the great work that you're doing?
I'd say check it out on Twitter. It's at ZLINEN. I just created a teacher help group through the app, and I will post that to Twitter as just kind of something that I know a lot of people will say, I want to try this, but I want to try it with my whole classroom. What I'll do is I created just an open group. So if a single teacher wants to try, they can just get a feel for posting a picture, post an audio comment, and then with the feedback items, hopefully I can respond enough or put my email in, send me an email here. Social media is probably the easiest way. So anything on Twitter, direct messages or just tweets. And I'm happy to help. I think that what has been really cool for a lot of teachers getting involved with SeeSaw is that there's a person on the end of the line. They can email back and forth. They can respond through Twitter, and they're getting responses. It's not just, that'll come in the next release. I think that there's a lot of ownership with the teachers and the community that are using it. And I think it's a cool thing for everybody. It's a good group of people, and we do share a lot of resources back and forth.
The one other thing I'd add there is we started doing a Twitter chat the second and fourth Thursday of every month at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's called SeeSaw Chat, #SeeSaw Chat. And we've just had a great group of folks tuning in for that and sharing tips and tricks and asking questions and building that community and sort of helping teachers help each other with the product is something we've really tried to invest in early on.
So certainly if you're out there on social media looking for more information, you can find them at SeeSaw EDU. That's SeeSaw EDU. Carl, where can we find SeeSaw? Where can we pick up a copy of this?
So best thing is to search for SeeSaw in the App Store or go to our website. If you type in seesaw.me, you will find us on the interwebs.
Excellent. Carl, Zach, thank you so much for joining us today. Best wishes, and we would love to have you back on when those new app updates happen.
Great. Thanks so much.
Well, my friends, that wraps up another episode of the TeacherCast App Spotlight. I want to thank again my friends from SeeSaw for coming on and sharing this amazing digital portfolio. Check it out. It is absolutely free, and it is something that if you are an elementary teacher, you really need to try today, especially if you're using iPads. My name is Jeff Bradbury. Thank you so much for making TeacherCast a part of your professional development network. There's, of course, several ways that you can reach out and contact us each and every week, and who knows, maybe you can be a guest on the show. We love it when you find us on Twitter at TeacherCast. Leave us a voicemail at teachercast.net/voicemail. And hey, while you're doing that, suggest some topics for shows. We love it when you invite yourself onto the program. Email us at feedback@teachercast.net. And if you like this show, please take a moment, head over to iTunes and YouTube over at teachercast.net/iTunes and teachercast.net/YouTube. Subscribe to our show, download our show, and most importantly, leave us a nice review. My name is Jeff Bradbury. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time, continue sharing your passions with your students.
SeeSaw is a learning journal that empowers students to showcase what they're learning at school. Students each get their own journal and can easily add items just by taking a picture. You can also add video, drawings, or anything from the camera roll. SeeSaw's camera detects if it's being held steady before taking a picture, and 2 taps is all it takes to add a voice explanation, drawing, or text. Next, students pick their name from the class list and add the item to their journal. It's that easy. Students as young as 5 are using SeeSaw with minimal teacher supervision. Teachers can browse items from the whole class or review a single student's work. SeeSaw helps keep everything organized and in one place. SeeSaw journals are accessible from anywhere, on iPads, iPhones, and on the web, making them great to refer back to for parent-teacher conferences, assessments, or student self-reflection. When teachers approve new items, parents are automatically notified, giving parents a personalized glimpse into their child's day and a conversation starter for later. Parents can view only their child's journal, and student journals are kept completely private. Setting up your class takes just 30 seconds. Download SeeSaw in the App Store and get started.
Today's presentation is brought to you by StoryboardThat.com. StoryboardThat is the leading storyboard creator for classrooms of all grades and subject areas. StoryboardThat provides a simple, drag-and-drop experience with thousands of well-designed artwork to quickly create great-looking storyboards. This lets students really focus on what they want to say and unleash their creativity. With tons of pre-made teacher guides, StoryboardThat gives lots of examples for common core-aligned activities like breaking apart Shakespeare, practicing vocabulary, or conjugating verbs for language class. Sign up for free at StoryboardThat.com or check out TEACHERCAST.net/StoryboardThat to take advantage of our 25% discount when you sign up for an educator account. Once again, that's TEACHERCAST.net/StoryboardThat.